Today, I'd like to share three important transformations in my psyche, if you will. This is very, very personal to me, something that followed me for decades, but I feel compelled to share it because I think it's a human thing. And if it can help anybody, well, I'll, wear my heart on my sleeve. So, when I was a little boy at 10 years old, just like a lot of parents who fought, I'm not judging my parents or anything. I'm just stating facts here and, my story. And I remember there was a lot of fighting and stuff like that, but a lot of it was muffled through walls and I couldn't, really make out what was happening. But in one particular case, the fight ended up in my room, in me and my little brother's room. And it was pretty bad and it broke my heart, very simply. It traumatized me and it hurt me and I didn't process it. I just held on to it and it changed me. And I always remember that day clearly. And I used to cry a lot about it, talking about it. And somebody said to me, "You'll know that you're healed when you can talk about it and not get emotional." So, hooray! I think I'm healed from that part. So, as I grew up and became a young boy and then a teenager and whatnot, and then a young man and whatnot. All drugs and alcohol aside, here I just want to stick to this psyche transformation, if I may. I was rooted in that trauma, in that anxiety, and in that heartbreak. And I know it was a recurring thought, and it was like looming in the back of my mind for decades. And a lot of the work I did with this little child, I'm a big advocate of the inner child. I did a lot of work. I don't mention that a lot, but I did tons of work on the inner child. And it was very, very, very eye opening and very, very difficult and hard work, obviously, reparenting an inner child, but really, really, really grateful that I was able to do it and that I surrounded myself and recruited some professionals from around the world who, act and you know speak out and work with this subject. Anyways, and then I did the work and I did the work and I did the work, and eventually one day my emotions or my psyche, if you will, I'm not sure what to call it, but it jumped forward from that fearful, panicky, heartbroken, anxious 10-year-old. It shot right forward to my 25-year-old self. And I still remember the apartment and the setting and everything. And I felt so much compassion and love for that 25-year-old. I was like, dude, man, you did all that, You you're so brave. You're so resilient because stuff was still happening, and I'm not gonna get into that. But you're doing it, man. I was 25 now. I was a father of two young kids. I was out on my own, and the world was at my fingertips and whatnot. But it went from something dark to something light and rooted in love and in self-respect and self-compassion and uh, fellowship with that 25-year-old. And that changed my life. It changed the filter through which I exist and live and thrive and breathe and go out into the world. And I didn't want to lose that feeling. I didn't want to lose him, that part of me, because it felt good, as opposed to the decades that I had struggled with the 10-year-old inner child. But eventually, he started to fade also. And I felt, well, I know now that I jumped forward again, emotionally, maybe, psyche, from 25 to now, where I am now at 54 in my life. I feel like I'm caught up, feel like it was full circle. I feel like I'm present. But the thing is, and this is what I kind of like, I'm aware of more and more every day and accepting of, is that those two are still with me. And that fearful, anxious, heartbroken little child, he's my child, and I'm his parent, and he's still with me, and that's okay. And that big brother of his, the 25-year-old, the go getter, the worker, the go out and grab the bull by the horns, is with me also. So all three of us are together. We're like morphed into what you see now in front of you. And that's beautiful. That's where I am in my life right now. And I just wanted to share that because I know for a fact that drug and alcohol abuse is to hide and kill the pain and the suffering that comes for a lot of us from our childhood. When we were vulnerable and we were in other people's hands, other people had our well-being in their hands, our caretakers, our caregivers, our adults around us, and some make mistakes based on their own beliefs and interpretations of life. I don't know, not blaming anybody, but a lot of it is rooted in our childhood. And for me to have done that work and to be able to bring him with me today and say, I know you're there, I hear you, I'm going to take you by the hand, and me and big brother, we're going to walk into this together, afraid together, and we're not going to leave you, we're here with you. And because of my faith, I know that Jesus is waiting for me down the road in everything that I attempt. So I know that when I go and meet him, then it's four of us, and that inner child loves that, and I'll never give up on him, and I'll always be there for him. Okay, I'm gonna get emotional now, so that's it. Sometimes it takes 54 years old for something to completely come around, and you wake up one morning and you're like, my life has changed forever, and I know, and I'll never be the same.